Thank you very much, everybody, for coming along today and welcome. I'm Helen Mile. I'm Chief Marketing Officer at VIOOH. Delighted to see you all here today. Those of you that caught some of our show reel there, that's just a little showcase of some of the great campaigns that we've run globally with VIOOH, with our partners, WallDecaux, Media Frankfurt, our other media partners around the world. And it's a really exciting time to be in the programmatic digital out-of-home space. Hopefully today will give you some inspiration, some thought-provoking questions maybe, and really welcome, a lot of debate. The reason that VIOOH does our State of the Nation annual research every year, and this year we expanded it to 6 countries. But the reason we do this is because we really want to understand how the industry can best develop. And this is about working together to increase and accelerate the adoption of programmatic digital out-of-home. So we're talking both to digital buyers as well as out-of-home buyers and helping them to understand how best we can accelerate this industry. This year we spoke to over 1,200 media executives, as I mentioned, in 6 countries, so Germany, France, UK, Spain, US and Australia. This is our roadshow that we've been doing around the world, so we've been to most of those countries and now thankfully here today in Germany. I'm very pleased to be here. And really what we wanted to understand was some of the key takeouts for each country, both and then also at a global level. So you'll see on these chairs, there's a little flyer that has some of the key findings. There's also a QR code and you can download the full report, both for Germany, and it's in German as well as in English. You can also access the global report as well as all of the other markets. So please do take a look, spend some time reading, and we're always here as a team to answer any questions that you have. But one of the most interesting facts that I found that clearly stood out for me for Germany was there are still a lot of incremental budget coming into programmatic digital out-of-home. In fact, 33% of those advertisers surveyed in Germany stated they were reallocating budgets from other digital channels. 29% were doing so from traditional channels, and 9% were creating completely new budgets for programmatic digital out-of-home. And that's really interesting and what we're seeing mirrored globally. Another interesting point was that programmatic digital out-of-home investment in Germany was more visible in terms of its impact on other digital media channels. So this is a key area that people want to understand. So if I'm having and using programmatic digital out-of-home programmatically, how is it impacting my other media channels? And with 38%, this was the highest voted area or topic for people to understand. And I'm sure the panel will have something to say about that. So looking forward to some really good debate. Our first panel here, I'll let Gavin introduce. And Gavin Wilson is our Chief Global Revenue and Customer Officer. So thank you, Gavin.
Mijn naam is Gavin. Ik ben Global Chief Customer and Revenue Officer by VIOOH. Welcome. We're lucky to have 2 great panels today. The first is a buy-side panel, and the second is a media owner panel. I'm lucky enough to have chaired 3 of these events now, one in New York, one in London, and now this event in Germany. The statistics are fantastic, lots of interesting data, some similarities across the globe, but equally so, some very unique data in Germany as well. We're not expecting any fire alarms today. If you do hear a fire alarm, though, please do make your way to the fire exits. There's some at the back and some at the front as well. As Helen mentioned, we've got the report here to download. Please do have a look at the QR code and scan the QR code, and please do share that as widely as you wish to, obviously, with colleagues and your networks. Would really appreciate that. We're going to run the buy-side panel first. Then we're going to invite our media owner panel onto the stage. And then at the end, we're going to do a Q&A for everybody. So we'll invite all of our panelists back on stage. So please do use the Slido code that you can see on screen. And please do write questions for any of the panelists or myself. You can see the number on screen there of 235003. And please do, as I say, pose questions as you wish. So, starting with our buy side, we're lucky to have Lars and Sarah here today. I'll let you both introduce yourself, please. Sarah, maybe you could go first.
Sure. Thanks for inviting me. I'm Sarah. I'm part of the business development team at the trade desk in Hamburg. and responsible for our agency partnerships, explaining digital out of home and the impact it has in an omnichannel campaign, how it can help advertisers spend their money more efficient and like really do the best out of their campaigns.
I've got the same purpose, Sarah. A lot of explaining and building products in the need of the client. My name is Lars. I'm working for It Works. We're a special agency for out of home. My footprint is digital and media network agencies in the past, so I'm combining both of the worlds to bring the best to the client.
Thank you both, and great that you could join us, and great that we've got a representative from a key agency and a key DSP with us today. So the first question actually links to Helen's introduction, and from this year's report in Germany, we can see that 33%, as Helen mentioned, of budgets are being moved into programmatic digital out of home from other digital channels. And the first question really to Sarah, please, is this aligned with what you're seeing? And I guess, what do you think this says about where the outdoor industry is heading, please?
Well, I think in general, advertisers would like to spend more money in multi-channel and omni-channel campaigns, where programmatic digital out of home is a big part of. We do see that they ask for more transparency and data-driven activations. If it is from other digital channels, but also traditional channels like classic out-of-home or traditional linear TV into CTV. So it is really the activation of data and getting more transparency. But we also see that it becomes more relevant to reach users on every screen. Like we all know, we have lots of different touch points. We walk around in the city and see multiple digital out-of-home and also out-of-home screens. So it becomes more important for advertisers to be present on every screen that a user has contact with. So they are exploring more and more with out-of-home and other channels, how to combine them, how they can like really get the best out of both worlds, more the traditional side, but also the digital side. And like, for example, we had a recent case study with WhatsApp, like a digital native offer, how you say it, and they like used the data they had to see if they have users or their target audience that are not using WhatsApp, like another like communication app. And they wanted to target especially those who weren't using WhatsApp because they wanted to promote their new privacy features. And they used their data to target essentially those users around malls, bus stations in the city, and they saw an uplift of over 80% in terms of the baseline. So digital out-of-home can be very precise and is more efficient when it comes to optimization and stuff like this. So I think advertisers are exploring how they can work with that.
Yeah, that 80% statistic is huge, isn't it? And I
It
think
is.
there's lots of great case studies across the industry now showing how the channel is unlocking that customer journey more than ever, I think. So thank you, Sarah. Lars, the same question to you. Is that 33% of sort of money coming in from other channels? Is that what you're seeing and hearing? And do you think that shows or tells us anything about the industry and its direction?
I'll answer that in a second. I'd just like to support the what Sarah's just saying. We do see that digital is sometimes coming to a limit, classical digital, and the targeting has come to a limit. For example, if you've got like a pharmacy we work for, they say, okay, we've reached a certain amount of our target group, but we want to get X, Y over the top, a little bit like with WhatsApp. We say, okay, if we keep in our own world, then we are limited. We got to get offline, got to get outside. In addition to that, you find that more and more screens, not only the big players, but a lot of small players coming in, sort of democratization of digital out-of-home. Some of the players are in the room as well. So you got additional touch points coming in more and more, like kiosks, like fitness, gyms, hotels, pharmacies, etc. So the people want to be at the point of sale, or if the data shows them where the target groups are, they would like to meet the target groups where they are about. If we think about, so it's a mixture of availability, ubiquity of digital out-of-home programmatically. Also, most of the players out there have understood, especially the small players, that programmatic is vital because you don't have a sales team which can go out to pick up every ticket. But if you're supplying your inventory on the sell side, giving the advantage to the DSP to pick it, then you've got a great advantage to pick up small tickets. And this would lead to the answer of your question. We made an analysis of our clients, and we did see, or it supported the figure of around 30%, but it was more the amount of advertisers. It wasn't the amount of money. It only is about 10%, because a lot of advertisers have got the smaller tickets, and the big money is coming from the out-of-home advertiser, or the ones who use out-of-home as one of their partly as in their media mix, and then add or replace analog with programmatic out-of-home. So there's a lot of money being swung within out-of-home into programmatic, and a lot of the digitals coming in, experimenting with the campaigns, and also one of the other things are that you need to build up trust. It's a lot of the online smaller startup do see that they can't build enough trust online, so they need an offline representation to have a certain visibility in the market, and then build the trust to build upon, and then go this way.
Yeah. I completely agree, thank you. The first question was a little bit around that money almost moving, or hopefully moving into the channel. The second question I've got is more about the sort of integration of programmatic digital out of home. So a statistic from this year's report showed that in Germany, programmatic digital out of home is commonly integrated into broader out-of-home campaigns at around 77%. So essentially a mix of programmatic and outdoor alongside each other. However, one of the top needs for further investment was around visibility on the impact against other digital media channels, which makes sense. The industry is getting more progressive, certainly. So Lars, maybe I can come to you first. I guess from an agency perspective, are you seeing that multi-channel campaign and that incorporation, you sort of touched on it there, is that more common now? Or is it grouped with outdoor and digital outdoor, or is it a bit of everything, I guess?
Yeah, the later ones. Next question. No, we do see, if you're coming out of the digital world and you're used to programmatic, it seems like digital out-of-home is just one extra inventory, another channel to be added. And that's, of course, one of the logic ways to go say, okay, this is cool, I can go outside, or I can prolong my TV campaign. So it is a natural move to go into that direction. So I think that keeps going on. Definitely will keep going on. But while doing that, you've got a lot of digital people who are used to have very specific KPIs they want to deliver on, up to lead or whatever is business relevant. So this is also a strong request from that side onto the medium to prove itself and how successful it can solve that. And together with the DSPs, the SSPs and data partners, we're trying to go down the funnel. We want to go from awareness down to measurement. So we've got things like thumbfall, and that's the advantage of programmatic, or in general out of home. You can test market in little areas with enough impact, rather than with TV. You've got like broad national coverage. So you can have markets where you say, okay, I want to advertise here, and you look at different target groups, you look at different cities, and you can leverage this and test it against the cities where you're not present. So for example, thumbfall is how much more online traffic do you have, given that you have an advertisement which is paying on the factor to go off online. It's not about, here we are great, eat our snack. It's more like we've got a concrete offer like Vodafone has, like on the forthcoming campaign, which is starting next week. It'll be Black Week time, so it's a lot about concrete offering, and we're measuring how much impact that has on online traffic, on visibility, etc. So that's a strong one. So I think we need to advertise this, and this is the digital side. The other one, and it's a logical prolonging of a lot of campaigns. And the other one I stated already is that we do see that a lot of the classical out-of-home clients use programmatic to enhance the possibility of targeting their audiences. But we talk a lot, if you come from the digital side, we talk a lot about data, which is mainly about audiences. If you come from the out-of-home side, we do see that about 50 to 60% is more like geolocated. So where is the point of sale? Where am I distributed? Or we do have stuff like campaigns for B2B target groups, which are normally, if you ask me, like where are people who are interested in driving electric bikes? I mean, it's nearly everywhere and nowhere. So we're doing fairs. We did for Bosch. We did a campaign with geofencing, digital out of home, and then put on top a geofence for mobile, so we can address all the people who went to the fair in Frankfurt. And actually, funny enough, we did see over the 2 weeks afterwards where they live in Germany. It's like all spotted. Before it was all in Frankfurt, and later on you could see it was all over the place. So we did campaigns for recruiting, for example, for automotive suppliers. Everybody's in need of qualified people, so we can address to regions where, for example, Continental or Schaeffler or other companies sit who have this staff, and address that through digital out of home and mobile, etc. So we're doing this multi-channel approach from this side, but a lot about geographics going into that.
Thank you, Lars. And Sarah, obviously, the Trade Desk have invested a lot in their outdoor planning capability. You're a true omnichannel player. Are you seeing that planning is driven, omnichannel planning is driven by the customer? Is it coming from the Trade Desk? Are you seeing a shift, I guess? Sort of similar question that I asked to Lars, please.
Well, it depends, as always. It is a lot of education we still need to do. And I think it's very good that we have those kind of events where we all get together and see what are the capabilities we currently have. We do have advertisers that are very sophisticated and are asking for like omni-channel campaigns where we can retarget users that have seen our out-of-home ad with a display ad or an audio ad to like have or really display the whole customer funnel, because they understand that digital out-of-home can stand as an awareness tool, but also perfectly for performance, for example, to drive people into store as the last touch point. And I think traditionally it was like planned and bought in silos. So we have the dedicated out-of-home agencies, but also inside bigger holding groups, we see that out-of-home is still treated a little bit different than other channels, but with like features, for example, with overall frequency capping within other digital channels, it becomes more relevant that the whole planning process is integrated to like also see which or what kind of data can I use for my display campaign as well as my digital out-of-home campaign, for example, and where are my users that I want to reach. So we definitely see that it becomes more important to connect all those channels. And I think a recent research in the US showed that if you apply more than 3 channels to your campaign, the order value becomes 500% more or higher than if you just apply one channel and reach just the users in one channel or one device they use. So essentially also from a business perspective and in driving revenue, it becomes definitely more important to have the holistic view of this. And there are tons of case studies I could reference right now that are essentially showing this, and to have the data to showcase how omni-channel campaigns can help drive business results is essentially helping to educate advertisers, but also agencies about the technical capabilities.
Yeah, I've always felt in any channel that is almost an outlier on its own. Obviously, it makes planning more difficult, and actually, the more that we can plan across all those channels, thinking of audiences, thinking of funnels. That's an ease of planning for agencies and obviously for targeting the right objectives. So you've both touched a bit.
Just to add, maybe,
please, yeah.
I think when it comes to the planning piece, normally what you have is you plan every channel with a certain budget, and now you can like apply like fluid budgets depending on how the campaign is performing on every channel. Especially with digital out of home, and you can really see which impact each channel has to your business case. So that is very helpful as well.
Absolutely. You've both touched a bit there on the funnel. And there was an amazing statistic from the German research which actually said that the digital out of home arena is being seen more and more as performance than brand, which is really interesting. And if we look back a few years ago, actually, digital out of home was the 4th ranked channel for performance, whereas this year it was ranked as the 1st. Now, I was quite surprised by that. I think the channel does wear multiple hats. But Sarah, what do you think about that? Do you see the channel as a performance channel? Is it a brand channel? Is it both, again, to your previous sort of sentiments? What are you thinking at the moment, please?
I think well, it depends. I have to repeat myself. Also on the client strategy, but also on the campaign for sure. But it can be both. Like it is a very great awareness tool. I mean, it is a mass medium where you can reach many users in a very short amount of time and create awareness for your brand easily. But you can also use it as a performance tool, especially with the data we currently have, to really target your target audience. Don't waste money on an audience you don't want to reach. You can be very precise, and you can like measure the impact and really measure performance, especially when we talk to advertisers that allow to place a pixel on their website, for example. It becomes definitely more relevant to measure the impact that users, when they see an out-of-home ad and they go to the website afterwards to purchase the product, or they go in store. Like there was a case study as well with Mazda, where like 30% higher conversions were achieved when digital out-of-home was part of the funnel, and it wasn't necessarily at the end of the funnel or the last contact, but it was in the customer journey at all. So the awareness was created, and the user was going into the Mazda store to see the car in real life. So I think it is. It depends.
It's a great example, though, of how it can be utilized with a different kind of hat and a different objective. So, Lars, does that statistic come as a surprise to you from an agency point of view? Do you have examples of customers using the channel for different means, like Sarah has?
It doesn't come as a surprise if you think about it. I think it partly has to do with the measurement options you have nowadays. I mean, if it's not possible to measure it, you wouldn't use it as a performance channel. In the moment you start it, then you think about, oh yeah, it could be performance. So you probably think in your mind, oh, I'm running a performance campaign. I think we're still at the brink of performance as a very hard KPI. But as said before, we've got it's about the same mechanisms. You know, they have the pixel on the page, see what the customers, the audiences are doing, and not only like a click, but the post-click history, you know, how long are they staying, how valuable was the contact with out-of-home, or I wouldn't say like the contact sounds so much one-to-one device, like it's more like having out-of-home in the multi-campaign as a part of it. It plays a role, and it might not be the last one. You say, oh, I'll be in front of info screen, and then I'll tap on the website, etc. So, for example, we are asked by clients, "Oh, we want to integrate a QR code into digital out of home," and I'll go, "No good idea." I mean, you've got to be like Lucky Luke. You've got to be faster than your shadow. You know, getting the impression, thinking, "Oh, that's interesting," picking up the phone and trying to get that within 10 seconds. You'll be a lucky guy or lady if you can do that. So we say no. What we do, for example, we did with Vodafone, implement QR codes on giant posters, analog medium, have that placed where, and the sites were chosen not because of heavy traffic, but of heavy pedestrian traffic, because we are aware that people are not scanning something while driving by with a tram or with a car. So that was really successful. Getting an AR explosion and giving a good experience, for example, for the audiences. So yes, we're trying to get nearer and nearer, but we got to be aware, and I think this differs us a bit, that we're not overselling indications of footfall traffics or audience targeting. Because the digital people, and I was one, and I'm still one, but having a little bit of an out-of-home site now, is like you're talking about one-to-one devices. You know who this person is, or you're very clear about who that person might be. But out-of-home, might it be programmatic or not, is one-to-many. And you always got different people in front of the screen. So yes, we can target and we narrow down on sites on an hour, and we use that, and we're getting better and better, but we still don't have a clear answer on, is that person the one who did go to that page, or and I'm not a friend, for example, of optimizing screens on the level of their performance or their performance to the campaign, because we did deep dive research with good researchers, and we say, no, we can't have a model which is exposed, non-exposed. It doesn't work with digital out-of-home. The data is not robust enough. No GPS data is robust enough to tell you big scale if a person has been passing by with a car, seeing it, but you're not measuring that person. So it was exposed and not non-exposed. So I'm happy to talk about that, because overselling might be one of the problems we're running into if we're overselling and the clients try it out, they give a trial, and then they think, oh no, it didn't work. Let's go back to normal.
Yeah, thank you. I'm going to challenge you a bit, both of you, and I know we're not under NDA, but so please share what you can. But where does programmatic outdoor sit in your business priorities? Lars, maybe you can go first on this one. How important is it to the business?
If I take a little bit another hat on a media agency, I would say it starts to grow. Because media agencies and the whole media set is talking about multi-channel to get knowledge of the audiences across all channels, and as out-of-home is growing, having that data at hand, either regional, supporting TV campaigns who've got regional weaknesses, driving more performance, being more B2B. So there's a lot of opportunities out there for different advertisers tapping into that field. So it is becoming one of the top, I would say, like top 4 or 5 innovation drivers to talk about at the moment. So I guess it's about retail this year. Then we've got the overall KI or AI stuff. But next to that, it's a lot about digital out of home and the usage, the correct usage and integration about that. So it has a high priority, I guess. Because it's got that innovative move, and as a media agency, you want to give a kick to the client, give them more, give them better chances to work with. So we get more and more clients coming every year trying out programmatic digital out of home. For us as a company, it's priority number 1.
Fantastic, great to hear. Thank you, Sarah.
It is for sure a high prior topic for us as well, because advertisers and agencies are asking for digital out of home as part of their omni-channel campaign. And maybe to your point before, to not oversell, it is important to see what kind of solutions we can build and to use the data we actually have to help advertisers solve the problem of reaching the mass without targeting at all, and to go into programmatic and narrow that down, be more efficient with the money, don't waste money on people you don't want to reach. So we are definitely investing in those kind of models and data points to not oversell, but to have the solutions to be precise and to essentially what programmatic is, to optimize in real time and to get the insights about the users we see in front of a screen and who actually bought a product afterwards. So to close the gap between like traditional and digital.
Yeah, I think that precision point's really key, isn't it, as well, that preciseness of targeting audiences. I was lucky enough to work in the display channel 10, 12 years ago when it was at its very early days of adoption of RTB and programmatic, and obviously today 95% of that channel is now bought programmatically. That doesn't mean this channel will go in that same direction, but that's over a 10-year period, quite a rapid change. So it's interesting how this channel is developing and performing as well.
I guess if you talk to all the suppliers, I think everyone has 100% programmatic target in their inventory, to be honest.
Yep.
I mean, we were just at a starting point about 3 to 4 years ago, and a few media owners were unsure because they had the same anxieties as other inventory 10 years ago from print, etc., saying, oh, we're going to cannibalize our yield. But I think the contrary is the point. It gives advantages. I think everyone is just trying to get if they build something, they're very eager to get that connected programmatically. So if everything is the thing is, if anything which can be standardized, I think will be bought programmatically. On the long run, it's going to be the same thing, and we'll get better and better. And coming back to that, we need that targeting option. That's one of the stuff which is driving programmatic out of home. It's just like two audiences we're talking to. If you talk to advertisers who weren't able to measure anything, a little measurement, or the better the measurement is, the better it is. From the digital side, we're used to measure a lot of stuff. There, it is hard for them to believe, oh, I can't build a house on this data, so it's not robust enough. That was a bit the sense of what I said earlier. It's not that we're not able to target, but sometimes it's more like going to the digital people and tell them, yeah, it's going to be like what you know, and that's not quite the case.
Fantastic.
Like a little bit of expectation management, really.
Yeah, no, I agree. And the last question for you both, please. I guess if we were sat here in a year, what 3 things does this industry need to have done? So almost what would we be frustrated by if as a collective we haven't solved for? Maybe it's more than 3, maybe it's less than 3. I hosted the UK the other day and someone had 5. Maybe you've got 5, I don't know. But what are the 3 things we've got to solve now, I guess, is the question. Who wants to go first? I'll let you 2 work it out.
You go first. It leaves not much
I
for
can
me.
go first. I would say education is key. Like, educate the advertisers and agency what's possible. Which data do we have? How can we leverage those and drive business results for the clients? But also to, like, as an industry, create standards. It is more of a Wild West right now than other channels because it is quite new. So I think that is key as well. And like to have more activation opportunities. Like you said, there are some digital first players that are coming into the market, and I think to reach people in every situation is key, because we will have less opportunities in the future to target users on every device. So out of home is key to get the message out, to reach your audience in a broader mass. So, yeah.
Thank you. Lars?
I would say like education is a relatively young channel. It is education within the planning as well, and showcasing what we did for clients, because some people cut early and say, oh no, it's not going to be good for me. And in the minute we start talking about briefs and what communication should do, often enough we find things where it does fit in, like the B2B campaigns. We never thought that would be, a good audience to target, which would only be digital, and we found out no, it's possible, because we do see where they are or when they are where. So education is key, internally as well as with clients. Then measurement also as KPIs, like driving them through the funnel, giving the KPIs and measurements and ideas how to measure and get that better. And the biggest thing is measuring the contacts, like have one currency. because we did have 3 currencies. Now it's down to 2, but still it's split. You know, like we've got the MR out of home, which just was released yesterday. It started that you can sort of see what the results are. And we've got public and private screen, but we need that united because some of the digital channels are in the MR out of home, like roadside screens and DDN, DCN. The others are in the public-private screen, and this is, of course, nothing we want to have for the future. I mean, there is a strong aim in the market to unite that into one study, to have robust information, and the committees are constantly talking to the advertiser committees to sort of verify if they're happy with the measurement and methodology, because it doesn't pay anything off if we sort of develop it out of the industry and put it to the advertiser and they say, oh, I don't believe it, it doesn't look good, we're not buying into it. So it's in cooperation with the advertisers to have one currency. And I think if that's done, we've got all the stability, the multipliers coming in, which we need to calculate campaigns. And I think that's
fantastic. I may add one. My take is talking the language of the agency, really focusing on the end consumer and making it easy throughout the cycle to plan. I think the channel has the ability to obviously be based on geography from a planning perspective and location, but also on audience.
Absolutely.
Let's look at the data that's around that audience and let's help unlock that, I think, to make that real upstream planning really simple and obviously unlock more ad spend, hopefully, over time. So.
And one, adding to education is how do you advertise on digital out of home or out of home, because a lot of the agencies come with creators which are not suitable for a small amount of time you have. So we do pre-tests with creative to show them if that's below or above benchmark, just to give them an indication that later on in the campaign they're not blaming it on the medium if it was about the creatives. So that's one of the stuff education-wise we add to that.
Fantastic. A round of applause, please, for Lars and Sarah. Thank you both. There's some great questions coming in on Slido. Please do keep adding to them because we'll get to the questions at the end when we invite everybody back onto the stage. But now for the second half of the panel, I'd like to invite Paul, Björn and Sandra up to the stage, please. And just before we introduce, obviously, the team here, hopefully you know the team, but great to get a buy-side perspective. Obviously now, let's have a look at the media owner perspective, see if it's similar, is there differences, and be interesting to get that take. So maybe you could all introduce yourself though, please. Sandra, would you go first?
Yes, of course. Hi, I'm Sandra, I'm from Media Frankfurt. We are the marketer of Frankfurt Airport. With over 500 digital sites that we offer programmatically, of course, through VIOOH. I'm the team lead of business development, and yeah, thanks for having me.
Fantastic, thank you for joining us. Björn?
Hi, yeah, thanks for having me and inviting me. I'm Björn, I'm responsible for all the programmatic and digital business of WallDecaux in Germany.
Fantastic, thank you as well. And Paul?
Thanks for having me too. Yeah, my name is Paul. I'm working at FRAMEN. FRAMEN is more focusing on indoor digital out of home, and we're doing that in 20 countries. Well, a small company from Berlin, Germany. Happy to be here and to talk about programmatic digital out of home.
Fantastic, thank you. Let's get straight into it. Another really interesting statistic was that 33% of respondents, so German advertisers, purchase digital out-of-home campaigns solely via programmatic. So a third are buying digital only programmatically. Okay, it's a really interesting statistic. That's higher than all of the other European countries that we surveyed, so higher than the UK, France, and Spain. And it's about 3 percentage points above the global average that we saw. So quite a high number. I guess the first question, and Paul, maybe we could start with you, is what do you think is fueling that in this market?
I think the transparency that advertisers and agencies are looking for, tracking possibilities, targeting possibilities. There's a lot that's coming together, and from my experience, the whole world of digital advertisement and traditional advertisement is kind of melting together. You know, you get you see the trends that print is slowly decreasing, linear TV is slowly decreasing, and now there's kind of a shift happening, and people that are, I don't know, buying a lot of digital inventory online want to try new things like out of home. I think everyone saw it recently. TikTok is now offering digital out of home in their ads manager. So you see that there's a movement in the market, that different kind of digital medias are melting together. And that makes sense, in my opinion, to have a broad audience that you can choose and pick, and basically combining that into a world of programmatic advertising makes it, in the end, easier for either the agency or the direct client to really build the campaign based on their targeting that they're looking for, or the audiences that they're looking for, or the cities they're looking for, and the chance that they not need to reach out to every single provider of the media. That, I think, is part of the boost.
I agree. Simplicity. It's definitely a key word today, and ease of planning. I agree. Sandra, same question?
What fuels all of this is the high engagement from all sides. So what we are experiencing since the start is a very high interest in education sessions. So clients and agencies, and even clients that we would not have expected, are coming to us without a proper campaign or briefing. They're just like, hey, tell us what you're doing. We want to understand it. We want to see all the possibilities. And this is an engagement that you usually do not see on every topic that carries around the market. And also, like, the same from the media owner side. So I think every big player is offering at least part of the inventory programmatically. New players are pushing into the market. And I think if there is an out-of-home company that is not going towards programmatic at the moment, they're in a minority.
Yeah, thank you. Björn, is that sort of what you're seeing and what you're expecting, I guess, with that statistic?
Yeah. I think so, that supporting this growth of programmatic, there are two very broad or general reasons. One might be something like flexibility, the flexibility in creating very, very customized campaigns, very flexible with a lot of targeting criteria, adding data possibilities and so on, so that gives more flexibility for really customized campaigns for advertisers, and if from their side comes additional first-party data, then the magic could happen for clients. So, and the other is that what already has mentioned from Lars, I guess, and from Sandra, it's like that sometimes we are living in a bubble, so media planning must be efficient. For agencies. Digital out of home is mainly only a small portion of the media volume that might be spent. So there are a lot of, there's online display advertising, there's online video, there's TV spots, TV streaming spots, and so on. And you have to do a very, very lean and efficient planning, a very lean and efficient buying, monitoring, reporting, and in the end, the billing process. And all these reasons come along. In Germany, with the fact that we have a very, very shortcoming or lack of skilled or qualified workers. So really to have a very, very lean and efficient planning, buying, reporting process is key, I guess.
Fantastic, thank you. Sandra, I'll come to you next, please. 36% of German advertisers plan programmatic out of home alongside direct. Is that an accurate representation of sort of the briefs and noise that you see and hear, or are you seeing a different sort of level of planning of digital out of home, programmatic alongside digital out of home?
We definitely see this. So especially when it comes to the interest as said initially, I think even like sometimes programmatic is being talked as a trend, and I refuse to acknowledge that it's a trend, because we all know, especially if you're around the out-of-home world a bit longer, there's like at least one trend a year that needs to be done. I remember beacons back then. I think like 3D advertising is a big topic today, and usually it's like, we just need to get this done, and they check it off. We have done something with beacons. We are a modern agency or a modern client. We are going this way, but for programmatic, it's not a trend. And we definitely see this because of the high interest in education. People really want to understand what's happening and where the benefits are, and not just to push out a PR release afterwards, featuring a programmatic campaign. Therefore, we definitely see it coming in really valid briefings from agency and clients that made up their mind, like how to use the possibilities that are given, and definitely see this shifting into revenue.
Fantastic. And Björn, do you see the same sort of statistic, 36% direct and programmatic, or are you seeing different figures?
Yeah, so I need much more time later for the questions. Yeah? So that's why I've asked my much smarter colleague, Michael. Michael, could you agree on that numbers? And I said, yes, totally, 100%. It's exactly the numbers that we see.
Fantastic. Short and sweet, but thank you. Paul, FRAMEN are slightly newer into the programmatic outdoor market, I think it's fair to say. I guess, what impact do you think programmatic in general will bring to your business?
So for us, it's bringing more visibility to the whole international digital out-of-home market. Since we're connecting TVs to our platform, we're making them available programmatic. So this means as soon as the inventory that we are onboarding gets uploaded to our own SSP, we are uploading them to other SSPs like VIOOH. And for that, it's very beneficial for the media that's behind it, because there are a lot of clients looking for German audiences, for example, and they might be not aware of certain spots we're offering. So they get a lot of viewability within the market, and the possibility of inter-country campaigns, multi-country campaigns. For example, with the Trade Desk, we're running a campaign for Visit Portugal in 4 countries at the moment. And to be very fair, that's an awesome possibility for an advertiser in the end. Like, having your campaign running in multiple countries with one single provider is just amazing. And giving advertisers the possibility to do so is something very nice, I think, which is bringing, even for us, for FRAMEN, a great possibility in the market.
Yep, completely agree. Thank you. Sustainability is a really sort of current topic, and rightly so, not just in the outdoor market, but lots of other channels as well. I'm curious to know what each of your businesses are doing about the sustainability topic. Obviously, it's a broad statement, but maybe Björn, we can start with you. What are WallDecaux doing linked to sustainability, and how important is it, I guess, to the company?
Okay, before we come to the sustainability topic, let's first discuss this blackout topic beforehand. So at the moment, though, there is no blackout announcement more in the market. So I think since April the 20th of this year, this enactment by the government has stopped. And then I can speak for WallDecaux. WallDecaux has decided, okay, but we will keep the situation that we will shut down or stop our screens at midnight and restart at 6 in the morning. Yeah. And that's a good sign. I mean, let's be transparent. The economic loss of this time was not as big as imagined. Yeah, we've seen that, and we thought that okay, but driving pollution in terms of carbon here, that's not gonna work, and that's not gonna be as responsible for the environment as we want to be. So first, then second, and perhaps that's a really funny history on that, is that how this decision have been made with this energy shutdown as a result of the energy crisis, and that has been forced by the war in the Ukraine. So it was like the German Energiesparverordnung, yeah, and that said, okay. And the first idea from the government was, we have a wonderful idea, guys, for our out-of-home suppliers in Germany, and especially for them who are working in the public space. It was like, we have this wonderful idea for you guys. You could start your business at 4 p.m., yeah, and let's stop at 8 p.m. I said, okay, first, it is a mistake, right? We should start at 8 a.m. No, at 4 p.m., yeah. All people has ended their work and then they go shopping, and at 8 p.m. They are sitting at home, and then they are gonna have dinner and they're gonna watch TV, and then you can shut down your screens again. That's what I was like. Okay, then we're gonna die. Yeah, I mean we'd be bankrupt. So, and after a lot of discussions and negotiations, then the enactment was a little bit different, and we could start at, I think it was like 6, and then we end at 10 p.m. afterwards. So that was fine. So. That's the first thing. So at the moment, it's like a completely free decision that we will stop at midnight, and then we will restart at 6, I guess. So, and then the second is this sustainability topic. So, and the sustainability topic for DOOH is really unbelievably huge. I cannot imagine. It's like I would say even that the sustainability topic in France is much bigger and more important than in Germany, especially when you're listed on a stock option in a stock exchange. Then for the company it's really, really important. So, and it starts with changing service cars from petrol to electric vehicles. First thing. Yeah. Second is that we have special water to clean the screens and the faces. It's a special washing water that will be reduced, I think, 3 or 4 times to not use as much water as before. So, third. Then I think DOOH has implemented and built the first full sustainable bus shelter based on wood. Yeah, and go to the cities and offer them, hey, for your next street furniture, use a full sustainability bus shelter based on wood. Yeah? So, and all this kind of stuff will be done besides the normal business. Yeah? And on top comes that the whole senior management of WallDecaux is incentivized on 15% of ESG targets or goals with their private bonus. So it's a very, very huge topic, and we have to work on that really, really every day in our normal business.
Fantastic. It's great to hear how serious it's being taken, and rightly so, but great to get some insights. Thank you, Björn. Paul, FRAMEN, how important is sustainability? What are you doing?
So, you know, the situation with FRAMEN is a little bit special since we're not facing public road signs or roadsides or street furniture. It's not in our inventory. We are working with private companies together, like hotel chains. One of them is B&B Hotels, one of the most sustainable hotel chains in Germany. They're like very, 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 very strict when it comes to that. So a hotel uses a lot of refurbished inventory or 100% of green energy that they're using there. You know, all that stuff comes together. So in our whole portfolio, I think we have very, very sustainable brands. We also have some not so sustainable brands in our portfolio. I need to be completely transparent here, because in some countries it's not that important as it is in Germany. But for Germany, as FRAMEN, as company, I mean, we cannot control B&B hotels, right? We cannot come there and say like, hey, your hotel needs to be 100% sustainable. It's not in our power. But when it comes to maybe the TVs, we're not producing TVs to them. We're looking for, second-hand TVs sometimes if there are no TVs in place already. So there we are saving a lot. And as a company, of course, we're always aiming to reduce our carbon footprint internally by offering public transportation tickets to our employees, and trying our best to reduce it as a company with what is in our power, of course.
Yeah, thank you. Sandra, anything to add from the sort of airport space?
Yeah, so we talked a lot about operational things now, and I want to bring in the building sites perspective a bit. So as most of you might be aware, we are currently building a complete new terminal in Frankfurt Airport. It will primarily feature digital sites, so we won't bother with installing any static sites in there. And of course, like one of the big considerations when it's about which board to actually choose is like the carbon footprint of the supplier. Also, like things like the energy consumption of them. And we are quite happy because we are a part of Fraport as well as DOOH, so we benefit a lot from Fraport's steps toward having a greener airport and building offshore wind parks for the energy and stuff like this.
Fantastic, thank you. Great to hear, and brilliant initiatives, everybody. Thank you. One of the statistics in the report said that the digital out-of-home and programmatic part of digital out-of-home, actually 85% of people felt that it was the most innovative channel. That could be because it's newer, but equally so, a very high data point about innovation. So the question, I guess, to you all is, are you seeing that innovation? And perhaps as a business, is there anything you can share that you're either doing yourselves or you're seeing in the industry that is really innovative? Paul, maybe I can come to you first.
Sure. Okay. Innovation is a huge topic, right? Innovation starts, at least in our own bubble at FRAMEN, with bringing new inventories to the digital out-of-home world. The most famous inventory is co-working spaces we brought on the map, basically. 3 years ago, there was no single co-working space available in the digital out-of-home industry or worldwide. You could not advertise in a co-working space. We did it. That's kind of an innovation we are driving. We are looking for touch points that are not so used to the digital out-of-home world. This is like kind of our innovation. And of course, the hardest thing, which was discussed in the panel before, combining the one-to-one medium and the one-to-many medium. And with us, we're trying to connect the phone to the screen, which is an insanely hard topic, because of course, QR codes are something that is not working and won't solve the problem. So you need to have a smarter product, a smart product that really drives the audience that's, I don't know, for instance, in a gym or in a hotel, to really pair your phone with the screen. So this is basically our main project we're working at FRAMEN, like how to get an intelligent way of communication between your phone and the screen that you're exposed to of course get more data out of the audience that's in front of the screen, and of course to learn more about the interaction between the audience and the screens. And this is something we want to really put our focus on, or we're doing it at the moment. We're starting our first pilot project in co-working spaces in the end of December. So this is the first touch point. We are trying to really deep dive into all the insights we can squeeze out a location. And for that, of course, that brings a lot of insights also for agencies and advertisers in the end. For now, we did it basically the old school way. We hired some students and we just placed them in front of the location, and they were like, "Hey, what are you doing? How old are you? How much do you earn? How old are you? Do you have children?" You know, they were asking questions, and then they were asking questions about the screen, and that's not scalable, right? You cannot do that in 20 countries, 25 countries. That's not scalable. So you need a smarter solution for that. And that's basically the main project we are working in terms of innovation. Great to get a sample, though. Great to get some customer data. It's always valuable, isn't it? So great, thank you. Sandra, same question around innovation?
Generally, we are always open-minded towards any ideas that agencies and clients might bring to us. This applies both for traditional bookings and, of course, also for programmatic. we see a lot of interesting things that clients are actually bringing, like with doing things with their own data that they have gathered or stored. Also, like we are in a very dense environment with the airport, so a lot of people on a very small area compared to like city or classical out of home. This it's quite hard to use like the street solutions, data solutions for this, and we are currently working on a data gathering solutions for target groups based on an app and a panel, and hope to get like the first data that is valuable and usable for programmatic on a screen level around first half of next year. So this is also something we are very much looking forward to, because like especially like all this data gathering stuff, it's like the same as with you. It's like the hunger for data is immense in the market.
Yeah, great to hear, because I think people expect that almost now, don't they? We've got over that first hurdle of the channel and its validity, and now it's the data and, as we said earlier, the audience associated perhaps. So, Björn, from a WallDecaux perspective, please.
No innovation. No, of course. We are trying to do some things as well. Some are more creative, some are more technical orientated. For example, I mean, this year, and I think we started last year, we tried to bring a lot of 3D creatives on the screens. And last year and this year, where we've seen a lot of DCO, so dynamic creative optimization campaigns. So we try to improve that as well. So there's more creative stuff. So in the beginning of the year, together with DOOH in Paris and in a cooperation, I think, with the Oxford College, we've launched an artificial intelligence that should help to optimize digital out-of-home creatives. Works really well, so that's a cool thing. So, of course, we are open to work and collaborate with any kind of data providers, and always checking, okay, is there something beneficial that we could grab out from some collaboration? That's a good thing, trying to optimize the return on investment measurement, like brand uplift studies or footfall measurement and all this kind of stuff. So that's a few initiatives that are driving this.
Sounds great, thank you. So really interesting. I'd love to see more on that as well. So 47% of advertisers in Germany said they want more standardization when it comes to measurement, which again makes sense. With sort of lots of disparate things to measure, the standard now is critical. I guess the question on my mind is what should those standards be when it comes to measurement? Should we look to other channels and how they've measured? Or is that the wrong way to look at things? And is there some specific measurement KPIs or standards that this channel really should be sort of talking about consistently, using as its basis? So, Sandra, what are your thoughts on that sort of KPI and measurement in the channel, please?
Yeah, the issue is that we are having a lot of different currencies around in the market at the moment, and I'm sure that it will be solved at some point, but I'm also sure that it will never be that standardized as in online or like more homogenic markets, because we are highly fragmented. So, e.g., like in the city, you're having wide and open spaces and solutions that can give you like a data security from around 20, 30, 40 meters are totally fine for a screen of yours. If you are at the airport, first issue that we are having all the time is it's only lat long based. We can't work with lat long, we need the altitude. If you are on level 2, you're having in Terminal 1, PRA, you're having all the business people running around. One area above, same lat long, you're getting Chinese outbound flights. So this is like not exactly the same target group that you are meeting on the same lat long. Also, if you go like 30, 40 meters, you're standing right in the next area that features the next kind of passengers. So one of the benefits that we are having in the traditional selling, that we always have a very, very good overview of our target groups. So because of the airport, so we know which people are running around which areas. it's now pretty hard for us to convert this into a data solution. Yeah, as said, it's if you look at online 10 years ago, it was the same fragmentation, and there was some kind of I sometimes secretly call it a purge. I was not part of online back then, but at some point, like a lot of data solution dropped out because they weren't valid. And I'm sure that the same thing will happen in out of home, because if you sometimes look what other people are doing and the data solutions that they are offering, you know, that they will not stand a closer look. So at the moment you are in a stage, the market is in a stage that there is a hunger for data, and just a need, and they just want to have something, and the questions about which data will be used and how these data are measured, they will come at some point, and then some of the solutions will drop out. But I said, like, also, like, not only for cities or airports, co-working spaces, like, if you are indoor, it's always something different than outdoor, if you have different levels and stuff like this. I'm sure that it will be more standardized, but I'm also sure that there will be never a full market standard, because there are too many solutions that gather under the roof of out-of-home to make this happen.
Yeah, I love that quote, the hunger for data. I think you're right, and I think you're also right about the standards, and will there ever be one standard? Maybe not, but does that matter? Again, maybe not. So as long as we're measuring to the needs of to the objective, as we talked about earlier. Björn, same question, please.
Yeah, so hopefully they will be standardized, to be honest. But I think it's a definition of what do you mean with measurement of KPIs. So, right, it could be a return on investment measurement. Of course, we have a lot of stuff to do within the next years. It could be audience measurement, or the quality of audience management in front of the screens. There is a lot of stuff to do, like what Lars told us, different initiatives, different communities, jigs, and so on. And of course, as you heard from Paul, there are some differences in audience measurement. So that's a very, very big topic, I guess. So, and the question is here, okay, how do you define what we should do in KPI and measurement? How is it going to develop within the next years and so on? That's a very, very big topic. And I mean, we are trying to bring together FAW, Emma out of home, right? Maybe there is a merger of the IDO and the FAW within the next years. We don't know, but hopefully we have to implement very, very good new currency for digital screens out of home. That's on the plan as well. So, and all this kind of topics are still open and have to be solved. So, but again, here's the hand, Paul. Please feel free to join the IDO. We need more standardization and measurement. I mean, asking a fitness center owner of how much visitors do you have per week is no real and good audience measurement.
Yeah. Paul, anything to add?
Yes.
Are you going to sign up to?
Well, you know, programmatic means in my world global, which means this is a task that requires internalization, standardization, and there comes the next part, which is very hard. And you know, I'm afraid that we as Germans and German media owners are not stepping out of our German bubble. Why don't we sit down with other companies that are facing the same challenges we also have in Germany, maybe in Australia, maybe in the UK? Because in some countries, I'm happy if I get a playout report to see how many spots were shown on a screen. And for those screens, I just get a monthly average of passing visitors. And of course, if I'm translating that to a German customer, it's like, that is not a reporting. I mean, I want data, right? So, yes, I'm open to discuss standardization, but for us, it needs to work international. But we had some issues in the past where we showcased the private and public screen study to clients from the UK, and the UK was like, "What's that? that's not root certified, so it's not worth. And in Germany, we need to pay a lot of money for that. Pay to play, you call it in the gamer world. But yeah, I mean, if it's really aiming for democratized, even considering smaller media owners, young media owners, and combining them with big giants to help each other, then I'm very open to talk about standardization.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your openness. Last question is the same question that I asked to the buy-side panel, and we'll go left to right as I look at you, if that's okay. And it's what 3 things, again, do we need to solve for now that we'll be frustrated with or will slow down if we don't solve for sooner rather than later? So Björn, maybe I can start with you, please.
Yeah, definitely. It's a measurement topic overall within the next few years. No, you could not solve it within the next few weeks. It's not possible, yeah, for sure. I think then topics came along with like ESG. I think it's a big topic, getting bigger and bigger, I guess, right? So then they have this topic, trust, I think. The good thing is we don't have any fraud. We don't have any viewability problems compared to online. So that's a big thing. And then, yeah, education, I guess.
Fantastic. Thank you. Sandra?
Yeah, to be honest, I can't put anything new on the plate. Therefore, definitely the education on the short term, like all of them said so far. So spread the word and educate and tell what's possible. Like the possibilities that hide behind those programmatic buzzwords are huge. And on the long term, of course, like standardization, growing together.
Yep, fantastic. Paul?
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, events like this are really bringing the experts from the industry together, and even being connected with you, with VIOOH, brings us together, and I think that's very powerful. But yeah, of course, it needs a lot of education, and talking about fraud and all that stuff that happens online. I even would consider to say. Digital out-of-home or programmatic digital out-of-home is one of the brand's safest way to advertise, basically. I mean, there's no such a case that's in my recognition that was a space bought programmatically that ends up being a pro-weapons organization in the United States. Hi, my name is Volkswagen. So that won't happen in programmatic digital out-of-home, not that I'm aware of. So. Yeah, I'm very happy. I'm looking forward into the future. I think events like this will shape the future, and bringing all together to the same table makes a lot of sense, and it educates a lot of people. So in the end, it's very beneficial to have the open discussion about problems and challenges we are facing, and for that. We might find solutions in the proper future.
Fantastic. Yeah, I agree. We have no viewability challenges. We have no cookie challenges. We have no fraud challenges. It's a premium channel. There's a lot of positives for the channel and the way it's going. So thank you very much, everybody. So a round of applause, please. Lars and Sarah, would you mind joining us again? We do have a few questions on Slido. I think we've just about got time to do a few of them, so we'll try and go through these. There's some that are very relevant for certain panelists, so and I appreciate these are obviously unscripted, so I'm going to throw them at you. But the first, I think, is probably more for the buy-side panelists. It's where is the growth currently in digital out-of-home coming from? Is it new customers? Or do you think it's old customers shifting? So maybe you might have a perspective on that, and obviously anybody else, I don't know.
Okay.
Lars, perhaps first?
We analyze our figures because we want to know how growth is going to take a route. So I said, like, we've got like 43 percentage of campaigns do out of home and digital out of home, but they account for 90% of the inventory, of the invest. Within these numbers, I would say like it's about 70% of classical out of home clients and 30% of clients coming in externally. Then again, on about 10% of the purely programmatic stuff, I would say like that is nearly all new customers from digital. So we see like smaller customers, regional customers, customers with specific target groups or with the target to build trust, as said early on. And that is the beauty. If you talk about innovation, it's about, you know, give us the brief, the agency the brief, and let them think. When they're educated, they'll find, possibly there is a way, possibly there's not, but you find a lot of things where we get showcases from the sell side, what other clients have done to inspire you, how you can solve this problem or this challenge.
Yeah.
So yes, there's I would say like a lot of money coming in from hyperlocal stuff, because now you've got like small chunks you can buy. It's not like the big networks you had to buy previously, like 120 or 500 CLPs, etc. So that's breaking up. I think that's gonna be going on further and further. We do see that in the market. With data, you're able to target different target groups. So there's an array of small, mid-sized clients coming into the market, and if we give them satisfying results, then I think they'll be coming back. So that's one of the fantastic stuff, and a lot of shifting, but with the shifting, an upscale, because again, like with different products, like you've got, again, Vodafone, we've got like big branding campaigns about, you know, talking about how good one is and sustainable and the products you bring to the clients. And then the next campaign is about a changement in law currently, where the tenants are in charge of, you know, doing Kabelfernsehen. So we did a lot of data analysis on that one to find out where is the ROI, you know, how many households are there? And then you can target them down and you know, just buy that. So these are added stuff, and we're running against direct marketing. We're running against regions with online in combination with out of home, without out of home. So this is where the money is as well. You know, like getting the shift. And again, somebody mentioned it earlier, TV. You know, they're on decline. Younger target groups or streaming more. You know, they're running down. We've got the mobile target groups outside. So we're running currently campaigns where we sort of do incremental reach. So wherever there is a TV spot out, we'll do digital out-of-home advertising, because you can't be out in the street while watching TV. So on the spot level, you've got 100% incremental reach. So this is, you know, an array where it's coming from. So we've got all the backwind at the moment. We just need to support that with good results and positive ideas and being creative. And that is where innovation's coming from. It's not only having a screen, it's about your peace of mind, bringing everything together.
Yeah, fantastic answer, thank you.
Sorry for the long answer.
It's great to get the detail, and it's spot on, I think. Sarah, anything to add in terms of where that money's coming from, or that kind of that growth? Is it net new money? Excuse me.
I would also say that it's more money from advertisers who didn't invest in digital out of home or out of home that much before. So maybe they tested it out, but now they have the opportunity to be more precise with the money they spend. So they don't need the $1 million budget to run a German-wide campaign. They can be more precise on one city, on one inventory partner, for example, and yeah, spend the money more efficient, reach their business goals. So the broader, I would say, comes from those clients. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Excuse me. There's a great question around for the media owners about profile of buyers. So does the majority of revenue come from agencies, specialists, digital agencies, etc., etc.? So I don't know if one of you wants to tackle that, or if you're happy to share that, but what's the profile of buyers in programmatic out of home now?
So it's a split of everything. So what really happened is that the chunk or the portion of buyers that are media agencies and digital agencies has definitely increased over the last years. So, and is getting bigger and bigger. Yeah, and the percentage of the portion of the specialists is getting smaller and smaller. Yeah.
Anything to add, Sandra, Paul? Any observations from your side?
I mean, what I experience is that more and more smaller digital agencies are tapping into digital out of home. For example, we have an agency that was mainly focusing on Microsoft advertising, like, I don't know, selling LinkedIn audiences and Bing advertisement. But they have a huge fast food chain that serves pizza in their customer chain. And they said, like, you know what? Kind of makes sense to place an out-of-home ad for maybe people passing by that might see the ad and went to the next store to buy some pizza. And now, how it comes, they're like a huge spender in digital out-of-home with the fast food chain. So sometimes it's very surprising where the actual buyer is coming from. For us, we have a lot of local buyers that, for instance, are car dealerships that are just want to, I don't know, target their 10-kilometer radius around the store. Of course, we have national agencies, we have international agencies, media agencies, but also smaller digital agencies that have nothing to do with digital out-of-home before, which is cool because it brings new money to the game. That's nice.
Absolutely. That's what everybody wants again. It's that net new money, it's that excitement. It's back to the innovation point, education, people coming in, trialing the channel, getting success, and then investing more again. So thank you. Sandra, anything to add?
For us, it's still mainly the specialists that we well-known, or the programmatic division of these well-known agencies. So especially from the digital agency side, we don't see a lot of, if anyone's here, you're more than invited for an airport tour or something like this, to dip into out-of-home at an airport. But yes, we are seeing definitely new clients. But the way of booking, if you can't talk about booking when it comes to programmatic, but placing the campaign mainly comes through the well-known specialists or their programmatic.
And one thing, sorry, Sandra.
That's all fine.
DSPs. DSPs are media buyers. Sometimes DSPs have some very good sales teams. I need to admit, yeah, like for real. It's an incremental amount of campaigns sold by DSPs, which is amazing.
Well, I mean, I know we have...
Sometimes even SSPs, Gavin, but only sometimes.
I mean, I know we have the trade desk here, but the reality is if you're going to invest in your platform, you then need to make it work because you need to see a net return. If that tech's being evolved, you can't just rely on the money. You need to control the money, and hence, great businesses like Trade Desk and others have really evolved in that platform, and then upskilling their sales teams, which we've seen definitely. So we're nearly at time, but maybe one more question we've got time for. This is quite a broad one, but I think it's quite a relevant topic. And it's about how can we measure more precisely that users actually saw an ad on a digital screen? Does anyone feel brave enough to answer that one? So.
Oh, there is a totally easy way to do that. Put in sensors in the screens, in the public space, and I think that all cities and the whole government will give a round of applause when we're doing that in terms of data security. But I think that's the long-term target, to try to convince the first city in Germany to do that by making clear that all kind of data security is totally fine and respected and so on. But imagine that would gonna work out. That would be a key door opener for a lot of new things.
Fantastic. Anybody else?
I mean, we tried it with students to interview the people. But yeah, again, that's not scalable. But more what Björn was saying, that would be really cool. There's some countries that allow it, but those countries are not very
Germany.
Exactly, and they're not so prominent for human rights. Unfortunately, in Germany there is no such a technology that I'm aware of that is GDPR compliant and gives you the data that you're looking for.
But we've got like eye tracking. In the past, it's still used. We've got Wi-Fi sniffing, which is used, which is GDPR okay. But that's going to be about it, I guess. But on the other hand, yes, it's nice to have more, but I don't think we have little. Because if we look at how we are measured and the complexity, for example, which coming from the out-of-home world, how to measure one screen, you know, the visibility, the angles, the frequencies. I think this is very deep down, and you don't have that in TV. You've got like 5,000 households, and that's going to be it. So nowadays, what we have is like current frequencies, and we're adding up with mass media from GPS. So we're kind of, you know, making a measurement and saying this is the status currently, and people are being questioned, and where did you go, and why did you go there? Was it for sports reason? Did you go out for buying, etc.? And out of these patterns, we start keeping that or writing that for the future just by the amount of frequencies we're seeing and special target groups we're seeing in other locations, also with GPS tracking. So I think there is a sort of more dynamic way than it was in the past. It's pretty granular down to a screen. We're not talking about, you know, like a vast, like in the city you're getting approximately 2 million. So we're pretty close. And funny enough, we're validating within the media buyers. So, for example, I must, not because you're on stage, but you're having a gym inventory, and if I look at the multiples, they are reasonable. And I see other competitors who've got multiples which are not reasonable. And if they're not reasonable, we're not offering them on a DSP level. So we're not buying them. We're going back to them and say, please check your data. Your data seems not to be correct. 15 people on a gym stuff they're not here for watching TV. Probably if the FB Cup is coming and Bayern is not winning, they're all, you know, gathering on the screen, but they're going there for sports or having a nice drink, but it's not beyond 1, 2, 3. So this is, we do side checks on that, and a lot of you on the panel are in the working forces to get the data right, to drive into one currency, to give the best possibilities out there. So I don't think it's necessary for us to step back and say, oh, sorry, no data for you. No, but because I think we're on the forefront, really.
I think a great place to end. We're on the forefront, granularity, data, precision, key words. So I think that everyone in the audience hopefully agrees. You know, if we get the granularity right and that precision, and obviously keep challenging ourselves as an industry, then I think the growth will continue. So thank you ever so much. Sorry if we didn't get to your questions today. I know there's still plenty on here. I think the panel will be around for a little longer. So if you do have a question that wasn't answered, do please come and ask any of us. Try and get the answers you need. Do download the reports, as we said, and share with your networks. The VIOOH team are here as well if you'd like to talk to us about anything. But from myself, thank you to the panel. Perhaps one more round of applause, please. And thank you to you all. We really appreciate you coming along. I think it was mentioned a few times. Events like this hopefully keep amplifying the noise around the channel and growing the channel. So yes, thank you from us for coming along. We hope you found it valuable, and hopefully see you again in the future. Thank you.